Hi everyone. So today in this video we are going to look into solving more problems related to the chapter on average. This is average, and since the start of the topic we have been looking at these three identities: average, total, and number of data. So once we are able to understand, remember well the relationship between these three quantities, we will most likely be able to solve almost all the problems related to this chapter. Okay, so on the page here, on page 119, I've written this little note at the top right hand corner. I'll use this moment to also share with us previously a quick recap on what we have learned on average. Okay, so previously we talked about this relationship triangle. So in this relationship triangle, it's about a multiplicative relationship between these three identities, and total being the whole. So we have something like a part whole number bond relationship, where to find the average, that's the first thing we've learned. To find average, we use the total divided the number of data that we have. So with this relationship triangle, you should be able to remember well and try to use it to remember well. If I want to find the total, I will use multiplication of the two given, and then, like for example, this one over here, this question over here. If you need, pause this video, take a look at this, and try to look at examples. Okay, I'm not going to go into detail. If you need, you pause, you take a look. Alright? Okay, so in every average related problem, the likelihood is regards to these three identities. Either is it the total value, the average, or the number of data. So in this example, we're talking about the number of marks that 10 pupils got, and as if we're finding the total, we use multiplication. And if we've got the total marks that's given and the average that's given, we can use division to find the number of pupils in the question. Now, okay, so basically, if you remember this well, you're likely to be able to answer all the questions related to average. You see, I've repeated this statement a few times, just shows how important it is. Now, so to help you solve a problem in regards to the chapter on average, you need to be able to annotate well, do your arrays properly, find out and ask yourself, what is the given information, what's the missing identity, and what do you need to find. Okay, so moving on back to our worksheet question. This is page 119. The first thing we did at level 1 on page 119 is to find total. Okay, and previously we have finding the averages in front. Okay, the previous examples where you add up all the quantities given and then you divide by the number of data in each set. Okay, so at level 1, okay, at page 119, we found the total. Moving on to page 120 now. Okay, so over here we have a calculator symbol. That's important. It reminds us that we can use a calculator to solve this question. Alright, so a quick reminder again, I'm going to draw my relationship triangle on top. Okay, so I have total, and then I have average, and then the number of data. Okay, I should have written this a little bit bigger. Let me just do it over. Okay, so I have the relationship triangle. Okay, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's the same one. I've been repeating. Okay, total, average, and the number of data Okay, so you realize that this is the relationship. I'm going to use the same colors to code it. Okay, let's take a look here. Oops, we have the total, average, and okay, so total, average. Okay, so it doesn't really matter which color you use to code as long as you keep it uniform. So in this case, I'm given total. The total is given. This is the given. This is the given. For the next few questions as well. Okay, pay close attention. This is given. Okay, and then I have average given. So this is the average. So in other words, the missing identity that it's supposed to find is the number of data. So with this, I can begin. I'm looking at to find the number of data. So I'll be using division. So in this case, I have the average 5, the total 532 bags divided by the average of 38 bags. I should be getting an answer of bags. Okay. And then the next one as well, I have 15.21 meters divided by the average of 1.69. So I should get the number of ribbons here after the division. Okay, so basically the average means after the whole length is shared up by number of ribbons. So with that, okay, the last one as well, I have 1890 milliliters divided by 378 milliliters. I get the answer as number of bottles. Okay, so with this given, should be able to use the calculator to solve them. Okay, let's just quickly briefly look at the last bit here as well. So similarly, I'm supposed to find the number of data, and then I'm given the average. Okay, and the total. So in other words, to find, I just have to go this way, the total divided by the average. Okay, so with a calculator, let me get my calculator on screen. Okay, so if I'm using the calculator in this case, let me shift this calculator here. Okay, and I could just easily press the numbers and I should get an answer for this one, 14 bags. Okay, so if you realize that when you're dividing using a calculator for finding the number of data, so there's a likelihood that you should be getting a whole number as the answer. If it's not a whole number, then probably you have made a mistake with your calculator pressing. Okay, really, because most of the time, okay, you are looking at the number of data, which is a fixed amount, like number of bags, number of ribbons, number of bottles. It's kind of unlikely that you have the data like a part of a bag, like half a bag. That doesn't quite make sense. So you should be expecting a whole number. All right. Okay. So leave you to work on the rest of the questions. In the next video, you'll be listening on to the next part on the level 2 word problems on something a little bit more tricky regards to finding missing data. Okay, page 121 for the next video.